Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. Coach Simmons, great to be with you. I know the end result on Thursday night was what you were looking for, but still, you talked about after the game, you love the effort from your football team.
Well, I did. I love the effort. Obviously, we're not used to losing much around here, and we don't plan on getting used to it. There certainly were a lot of positives from the ball game, and we got to build on those for sure.
Yeah, when you went back and looked at the game film, and I know you've had time to do that, what were the things that really stuck out at you that were positives from the game on Thursday night?
Well, obviously the big positive was just, the fact that the young men just kept battling, and, we really felt like we just ran out of time. We thought we got the momentum swung our way, and, we had a chance to win the ball game to the last play of the game, and we certainly had chances to not do that, but the defense in the second half played really well. Gave up one, really the one score on the fake punt, and so I thought we definitely got better as the game went on and had a chance in the end. So the character aspect, I was proud of that, but there certainly were a lot of things that we got to get worked out.
28-20 the final score, Henderson State victorious. But when I went back and looked at some of the numbers, Coach, 19 first downs for your team, 235 yards on the ground, 347 yards of total offense in the game. And then we look at time of possession a lot. You dominated that, had the football over 35 minutes in the game. So a lot of those numbers really added up to what a lot of times are going to be a very good night for your football team if those numbers continue.
Well, the formula for us, over the last several years has been playing great defense, possessing the ball, like you said, and having the ball for a long time and running that clock. But the key numbers that didn't go our way were the red zone. They beat us in the red zone, and then they had a 3-1 difference in takeaways. And when you lose the red zone and you get beat 3-1 in takeaways, your chances of winning go way down. But the good news is without a doubt, there are a lot of things that we didn't do well that are very fixable. They always talk about how the most improvement a team makes is between week 1 and 2, and that is very cliche, but I think it is true. I think it's even more true when you have a team like we have. We had so many guys that played their very first game in a black and gold uniform or a college uniform was Thursday night. So we expect to be a lot better football team when we play again.
All right, we are just getting started on this week's show with Coach Simmons. We'll take a time out here and come back and look at first half highlights right after this.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Welcome back to this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons, and we get right to first half highlights in the football game last Thursday night when the Bisons played Henderson State at First Security Stadium. Bisons won the opening toss. Coach, I know you want to do this a lot, win that toss, defer the option to the second half, and put your special teams out there, and special teams came up with a big play right off the bat.
No doubt about it. We always want to start a game by kicking the ball if we can, and get the ball in the beginning of the third quarter. And obviously, the game could not have started any better. I mean, a tremendous play by Dalen taking that ball away.
And by kickoff, 71 degrees, no rain. It rained during the warm-up, but no rain right now. And here is the first play, big play by Dalen Markham.
You know, Dalen is a senior. He was all-region last year, and that's the kind of play you expect a senior safety to make right there, and that really was a game changer.
Look at the energy on the sideline. Bison wearing those gold helmets for the first time since 1980.
Yeah, the gold helmets look good, but that sideline energy got us a warning flag there, so we got to work on that energy over there for sure.
Grant Kimberlin, coach, was wide open, and Terrence Dingle hit him right in stride.
You know, we have worked so hard this fall camp in the passing game, and, you know, I think coming out second play of the game, throwing the ball down the middle, you know, really caught those guys off guard, and, you know, Terrence threw the ball well all night. That was obviously a big positive, and, yeah, big-time play, big-time momentum, and, well, we really had things rolling our way. You know, this play right here was to me the key play of the game. You know, we didn't execute the blitz very well. Then we had two guys running to each other, and you know, we really had great momentum and just gave it back right there. I would love to have that play over again, as a bunch of our guys would too.
7-7 right now, first quarter.
Yeah, you know, again, you know, early in the game they were giving us numbers in the passing game, and Terrence took advantage of that right there. You know, Dather is a great matchup problem right there. Really proud of that. Boy, really questionable PI call right there that didn't go our way. That was a big third down deal, and you know, we didn't win third down. We didn't win third down much in the ball game, and that was a difficult deal for us for sure. You know, here again, you know, third down, we got the guy tackled, you know, behind the sticks and didn't make a tackle. You know, Frank was a little too aggressive going for the football, and you know, if he'd have got him tackled, we'd had a fourth down coming up. Third down was not good for us defensively. We'll get better at that.
Henderson State adding the extra point, now leading 14-7 in the first quarter, as we're still late now in the first quarter.
Yeah, we got the pitch out here to Zach, and you know, Zach's dynamite player and turned the corner and had a big play for us, and he's gonna have a lot of those this year, I promise you. Zach's
yeah,
a special young
109
man.
yards for Zach Shelley, coach, and only 10 carries. I thought he was really good on Thursday night as we move into the second quarter. 14-7, Henderson State with the advantage.
Yeah, we need the ball in Zach's hands as much as we can get it. You know, really proud of him. March down, sticks the ball in the end zone right there. You know, Terrence with a tough, hard-nosed play in the O-line right there, knocking guys backwards. That's what we expect to do. You know, this offense is always really good in the red zone. Obviously, fumbling that snap there was a negative for us, and you know, I don't know if he had slick hands or what, but that point was not good.
Well, I mentioned it did rain during warm-ups down on the field. It was a little bit wet during pregame warm-ups, and this is still in the first half.
I tell you what, you know, they really did a good job throwing the ball underneath, and we did not match them as good as we would like to. Again, something that we need to improve on. Well, the quarterback played real well, you know, but it was the same guy that played last year, and obviously, you know, as a quarterback, if you know, we were not getting the pressure that we need. Big time play by T.J. Winslow right here, and Jacory took a chance by fielding that, but boy, that was a big time momentum swing right there. Really proud of that play. That was an effort character play by T.J. and Jacory.
Henderson State had been 5 for 5 on third down before that drive, coach, and your team was able to turn them away and then get the big block field goal. Yeah,
you know, that getting a stop in the red zone is a big deal for us, and we got to keep on getting better in the red zone for sure. I thought Tristan kicked the ball well all night. We had one coverage situation that we didn't handle well, but we'll get better at that. You know, right there is a great example of us twisting up front and a guy not doing his job, and it ended up costing us. You know, we really had some execution issues up front that we'll fix without a doubt.
I thought that was a great throw by Andrew Black.
Yeah, he threw it well. Threw it well. You know, I'm a little disappointed in our man coverage stuff, and you know, I think our corners are really good and didn't have their best night, but we'll get better. Well, a tough deal here where a guy just made a great play with his feet, and you know, our corner was in great coverage, and at the last second came off right there, and well, that was another giant play in the game that you know, we had the guy in the backfield and just didn't take the right path, and it cost us.
21-13 now as extra point good there by Henderson State. And Coach, when you went into the halftime locker room, what was the thinking at that point? 21-13, you've seen a very impressive Henderson State offense. I think at times you mentioned they were very good on third down, though. But what was the thinking at halftime when you went into the locker room?
Well, I'll be honest with you. When we go into halftime, it's always the same. We believe that we're going to win. I mean, we believe that we're a second half team, that we're going to grind teams down. That's the nature of this offense, and that is what I believed 100%. I think our guys did too. I mean, I think we felt like we were going to go in there and make a few adjustments and come out there and win the second half, and we did statistically, but we just had chances to stick it in and we didn't. We give up 21 points in the first half of their offense, and in the second half, we pitched a shutout to the offense, but we obviously the fake punt touchdown was an absolute dagger for us, and it really was not even it was not a trick play per se. It was a unique formation, but they just released the inbound in the line of scrimmage, and we've got a guy that's he's a sign of that guy. He's covered him all fall, and he just kind of fell asleep, and boy, that was very, very costly. If we win that down, we probably win the ball game. But anytime you lose a football game, you can go back and look at a lot of plays and say, if we won that play, we win the ball game, and that's why it really is a game of inches.
Okay, 21-13 is the score at this point in the highlights at halftime. We'll take a break right here and come back and look at second half highlights after this.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Hi, and welcome back to this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. Halftime, 21-13. Bisons trails. We move to the third quarter of play, and Harding won the toss, get the football to begin the second half. And, Coach, I know you felt very good going into the second half, only down by 8 points with your football team playing at home.
Yeah, no, I really felt like we were going to march down and punch the ball in the end zone and get this thing back under control. And the defense really responded.
Yeah.
Second half, I was really proud of that. We can build on that. I thought that was a fumble. That was obviously would have been a game changer. The ball on the 12-yard line.
Well, I thought T.J. Winslow almost caught it.
Yeah, he almost caught the ball,
Yeah.
but I didn't think the guy was going to throw in motion.
Right.
But it could have went either way, obviously.
The defense is really both defense, because your football team got the football to begin the third quarter and had to punt the football. Now Henderson State, this is their first possession. They have to punt it, and here's a big play on the special team.
Big time play by Tony, a great punt return, and referencing their defense. I mean, I'm hopeful that those are the best two backers we see all year. They were both really good. They could really run and gave us some problems for sure.
Tony Beckton after that big return. Now you're in the red zone down to the 10-yard line after the run there by Terrence Dingle.
Yeah, that anytime you flip the field in your kicking game, that's a big deal, and gave us a chance down here.
And how big was this possession? Because you're in the red zone. Henderson State, I think, a little bit fatigued right now, but they really made a big stand.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. If we punch the ball in right here, the thing starts rolling our way and we win this football game. You got to give him credit. The guy made a great play right there in space.
That was on fourth down.
Yeah, that was fourth down. That was a fourth down. We were 4 out of 5 on fourth down, but that was the one that we didn't get. Second half, there were a few times where we had some personnel mix-ups where we had 4 DNs in the ball game versus a solid tight end, which is obviously a bad matchup, and that's what that was there. That's a boundary blitz where our field DN is supposed to slant to the field, and he didn't do it, obviously, and the guy breaks a big run off. This was the play of the game right here, and it was just about execution. We had a guy that had a job to do and just didn't get it done. And
this was the fake punt.
Yeah, fake punt touchdown. That was their only score of the second half. That ended up being the difference in the ball game.
28-13 right now. Henderson State with the advantage but your football team, Coach, would not quit here in the third quarter.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's who we are. We're never going to quit, never going to give up. And I think our entire team feels like if we had a little more time, we win the football game. But yeah, I'm certainly proud of the way they kept on battling. You know, you got to play 4 quarters and then sometime a little bit more for sure.
Yeah, move into the fourth quarter, and your football team down 28-13, and with the football right here, Terrence Dingle throwing deep, and there's Bobby Green.
Yeah, Bobby Green's going to be a big target for us. Really proud to see him back from the ACL injury. He worked so hard to be back, and getting to see him involved with a big play right there, that's a neat deal. Love Bobby. He's an awesome young man.
And this was a point in the football game, Coach, where you knew you had to score, your team executing.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, we were in a tough situation, backs against the wall right here, and big time play to Taylor Thompson right there. We called a hitch, and they read out of it, and you know, that obviously was a dagger right there. What we find out later was that Romar had already had a bad knee injury, and he was just trying to fight through it. You know, we stick that in right there and go for 2, and you know, we got a tie ball game, and boy, everything gets a lot more fun for sure.
So Henderson State trying to get a little room, and then also with this drive, Coach, they would wind up getting a couple of first downs, maybe 3 first downs on this drive, and you would eventually get the football back. But a lot of time was used on this drive.
Yeah, well, we would have loved to make them punt the ball out of the end zone and get a stop sooner right there and give the ball back to the offense. You know, obviously the 2 first downs were a negative, but also the way we managed our timeouts. You know, we got the ball back. We only had 1 timeout because of time management that hurt us.
Good gang tackling there, Coach, to the football.
Yeah, big play by Ben Trotter in his first ball game, and you know, in a long time, and real proud of that. So, you know, this drive gets real critical right here. You know, I wish Zach would have got out of bounds right there, but you know, he was trying to go to the house like he always is.
Down 28-13, getting late now in the fourth quarter, your football team driving.
You know, the thing about our offense is, you know, when you get in 2-minute O, we don't have to throw it. I mean, you toss the ball and you get 15 yards and get out of bounds. That's a good football play.
And you see your football team hurrying and getting a play in.
Well, at this point, you know, we didn't really realize it, but you know, our quarterback kind of started cramping right here and was having some issues. But we're awful close to sticking it in, and just when you get this close, boy, it would have been a lot of fun to stick it in and go to overtime and see what happens.
Here's Zach Shelley.
Yeah, there's some plays we would love to get back. That's one of them. You know, getting tackled in bounds right here was
That was on first down. Now you lose a yard. It's second down, 11.
Yep, you lose a yard and the clock's running right there.
Bison still at this point down by 2 scores, 28-13. This would be the big drive, though, to where you would get yourself in position for the onside kick.
Okay, all right. Now I was ahead of myself right there. I thought we had already scored.
But I thought this was a crucial drive, Coach, that your football team really came up big to get it to within a 1-score game.
No doubt, no doubt. This was about resiliency and character, and you know, really proud of the plays we made right here. You know, we obviously were not very clean and executing wise, but we got it done when we had to on this drive. We just needed a little more juice, a little more time.
You had a tough situation coming up right here with 3rd down, 14. There's a timeout at this point, but in a game like this, Coach, you really start finding your leaders for the rest of the season, don't you? Because I mean, you're going to have 10 more weeks of battle in this conference.
Well, you know, in a game like this, but really, after the game too. You know you went 13-1. Now you're 0-1. You know, what are you all about? You know, what are your kids all about? Who's the leaders? Who's going to respond? And you know, Zach Shelley, we actually got a text at 3:30 Friday morning, 3:30 a.m. with Zach critiquing his whole game, every play, what I should have done, what I could have done, and you know, that's a giant statement from a senior captain that played really well.
Right.
But that's a statement about what our guys are all about. You know, nobody points fingers, nobody feels sorry for themselves. We get up and battle and compete and respond. And you know, I would love to learn the lessons from winning some more, but boy, you learn a lot from losing about who you are, because that's what your life's going to be about. You're going to get knocked down and get knocked down and get knocked down, and you really got to figure out who you are. And every day you got a chance to respond to tough things, and unfortunately we're practicing this week responding to tough things.
And this is when the Bisons do score, make it to a one-score game. You get the extra point, obviously, at this point, to try to get it to within 8, and then have a chance to for the onside kick, which we're about to see here in just a few moments. Coach, set this up, this onside kick, as we get this ready and have a break here. Set the onside kick up, because this was a very crucial play to give your team a chance inside the final minute.
Well, coming out of the timeout, we had set up what was a conventional onside kick towards the sideline, and they lined up and saw our alignment and called timeout. And during the timeout, Dalen Markham, and our kicker, said, "Coach, we got the middle dribble. We've got it. We've got to do it." And those are 2 seniors, and
yeah, it was a great kick and also a great recovery.
It was a great kick and an unbelievable effort by Dalen, and just gave us life. I think our entire sideline thought we're going to win this ball game.
This is a 4th down conversion, Coach.
Yeah, big time play. Preston hasn't had a snap of football in 2 years. That's his first or second snap of his life in
Preston
college
Payton.
football, and stepped up big and made a play. He's going to be a winner for us. He obviously got put in a tough situation right here, and he'd love to have that one back, as we all would. But I feel bad that he got put out there in that situation. He will have a lot more good days ahead of him. But boy, tough deal. We need a little bit more time.
Well, and the one thing about it, in week 1, Coach, we knew that when you talk about Harding, Henderson State, this was going to be one good football team that was going to have a loss after week 1, and obviously Henderson State comes away with a win. But moving ahead now to next week, you had the long week, but what has been the focus around this football team since last Thursday night?
Oh, it's all about responding. I mean, it's that's what football's about. It's what life's about, and I don't have any doubt that we are going to respond. I mean, we have the right kind of young men, and everybody is ready to work. We came in Friday and put this game to bed, and got in last night after church, and had a great work session, and the energy was super high. I promise you, the Harding Bisons will always respond. And it's just because of the kind of young men we have in our program and what we're going to be about. But we're ready to go to work, and we obviously are playing a very talented SAU team. We're playing them at their place. They would love to beat us, obviously, as a lot of folks would, and we got our hands full. But we are excited to get to play again.
All right, we still have much more ahead on this week's edition of the show with Coach. We'll come back with a question from a fan right after this.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty where no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to Harding Football with Paul Simmons, and each week we will take a question from a fan for Coach, and now it's time for that segment, and here's this week's question for Coach Simmons.
I'm here with Zach Jones, who has a question for football coach Paul Simmons.
Following a loss opening week, what is your message to the team going forward?
I'm Michaela Twig with Harding Football. Back to the studio.
So, Coach, the question there from a fan, we look forward to that each week. And what is the message?
Well, the message is always the same. When things don't go your way, when you lose a football game, and I believe with all my heart that football is one of the best teachers of life lessons that there is, because it's really hard, and you have tough times, and what do you do next? And so the message is respond. How do you respond? What are you all about? Are you a great teammate just when we're winning, or are you an even better teammate when it doesn't go your way? And I already know the answer to that, but we certainly celebrate having a chance to get better at a skill that unfortunately we'll have to use throughout our life. And I know how we'll respond, but that is the message: respond, bounce back, get off the ground, go to battle, and we'll do that.
All right, the Harding Football Brotherhood always likes to give back, and we'll show you a little bit about how they are giving back when we come back. And also, we'll look ahead to this week's game at Southern Arkansas in a moment.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Welcome back to Harding Football with Paul Simmons. And I mentioned before we went to break about the Brotherhood liking to give back, Coach, and I think this is a great project that's going on at Gin Creek.
Well, I tell you what, we got an email this summer from the SA president talking about how we're going to clean Gin Creek up and make it a great area for tailgating and hanging out in your hammock. And I think that's a great idea. The creek had got really overgrown, and wanted to know if we could help with that. And so on the first Monday of school, the varsity is off, and we got our freshmen to get out there and help. And it was nasty work, but I was really proud of the way the guys responded, and we got out there and got a lot done. And that's going to be a really neat area, and I'm it's an area that will help with recruiting and everything else. So obviously we were tickled to death to be involved with that. So.
And Jack Allen has more on this great project right now.
Harding freshman football players took a day away from the grind of practice this summer to work alongside SA President Dakota Ellis and many other Harding students to improve the area around Gin Creek. Ellis said the Gin Creek project felt like it was an easy fit.
I mean, not necessarily easy in regards to the project itself, but I mean, to flip apart a campus, to make it look beautiful, just too easy. I thought, well, let's do it.
Ellis and the Harding players weren't the only ones out doing work on the project. Coach Paul Simmons saw this as a perfect opportunity for the team to grow.
When they asked us to be involved, we were like, absolutely. And so we got our freshmen out there and got involved with that. And it was a nasty, dusty job, but I think it really spoke to the kind of kids we have as freshmen, because they really embraced it, got out there and worked. There was no negative attitudes. And I certainly believe that a rising tide lifts all the ships, and any way that Harding gets better makes the football program better. And so I'm excited about that. I mean, it already looks so much better. So.
The SA committee says that they hope to have the project complete by the time that homecoming rolls around.
Yeah, and we're hoping that homecoming, that's where we're hoping to do the bonfire at, big homecoming bonfire out here, and maybe have some music and just have a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be utilized a lot by students.
Coach Simmons says he's proud of the work done by his freshmen and that he hopes the Gin Creek area becomes a big part of game day culture here at Harding. For Harding University football, I'm Jack Allen.
A lot of hard work right there going in. Coach Simmons showing a little muscle as well, but it's a great project, and always great for the football team to give back. Now, Coach, let's look ahead. Southern Arkansas this week. They're coming off a loss as well at Arkansas Tech. This is a very good football team that we're going to see on the road on Saturday night at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think SAU was the unanimous pick by the coaches to win the conference, and very talented quarterback, throws the ball really well, really athletic. So that'll be a big football game. They'll be excited to play us, and we'll be excited to go down there.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time. Great to be with you this week, and we'll see you again next week. Best of luck this week down at Magnolia.
Thank you, Billy.
That's all for this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. We'll have the radio broadcast on Saturday night on the Harding Sports Network beginning at 5:45 from Magnolia. We'll talk to you next week.